Yeah, before we start with keynote speech of Dr. Amitesh Kumar, one more time, I would like to thank each and everyone who has contributed to this ICCIP, right from our management to all the participants, all my students, volunteers, everyone has worked very hard to make this day to see the day, we can say light of the day. So thank you one and all. So with this, we declare that this inauguration of ICCIP is done and we are moving towards the first keynote speech by Dr. Amitesh Kumar. So let me give you the brief about Dr. Amitesh Kumar. He is currently working as assistant professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering at NIT Patna. He did his PhD after his BTech in Electrical Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Indore. His PhD thesis topic was fabrication and modeling of Xenon-based resistive switching devices for non-volatile memory application. He did the postdoc research from University of Utah from USA. Amitesh Kumar has done his BTech from Indian Institute of Technology, BHU in Electrical Engineering. He has been research fellow awardee from CSIR and Government of India. He has also been awarded travel grants from DST and CSIR to attend international conferences in Spain, USA, and many more to his credits. His research interests are solid-state devices, nanotechnology, emerging devices technology, micro nano fabrication technologies. Amitesh Kumar has been doing research on fabrication, characterization, and modeling of various nanoelectronics, nanotechnology devices for high-end applications. In particular, Amitesh sir is working on two terminal devices, that is RRAMs for data storage and neuroformic applications. So we are very much thankful to you, sir, for being part of this ICCIP, and I request you to please start with your session. Dr. Amitesh Kumar. Dr. Amitesh, your audio and video is not enabled, sir.
Unmute. Whether it is working now?
Yes, sir. Audio is working. If you can
Audio is
enable the
working.
video also, sir.
Okay. Audio is working. I share my screen. Then I start the video.
Okay, sir. Fine.
I
Yes, sir. Yes.
am I coming over there?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Thank you
Okay.
so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just share screen. Just tell me whether it is coming over there or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here we share. Somebody has shared the. Okay, no. Okay. Is it coming over there? It's showing that one participant is already sharing there something.
No, आपका आ रहा है?
आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
आ रहा है ना?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will start. You can see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I started. Okay.
Yeah. Sir, please view. Yeah.
I have to let me what to do with this Zoom. I
Yes,
have
sir.
to okay, it will go down. Okay, no, it's good. Okay. Let me drag it there. Okay. Okay. So I hope I am audible. So I'm Dr. Amitesh, and I'm assistant professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering at NIT Patna. And I will be discussing on the emerging non-volatile memory technology for data storage and neuromorphic computing applications. So just first of all, to introduce myself, I've already I have been introduced. So I don't think this parts are needed. Anyways, yeah, these are my papers and introduction. Anyways, okay. So I'll straight forward start with the presentation. So my work has been on the semiconductor devices, fabrication aspects, characterization aspects, and modeling aspects. So I've been working on the fabrication, then working on the mask design, processing of the device in terms of using annealing, characterization using several instruments, and then the device modeling. About using MATLAB and Console Silvago for that, device design automation using PSPice, device packaging using wire bonding, device testing using probe card, probe station, V1500 SPA.
हाँ
Okay,
सर
okay. Oh, yeah. So just to give you a background of the work, if you talk about the semiconductor switching devices, they are. Can someone mute there? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so to give you the background, of the semiconductor switching devices, you have two terminal switch devices like pin diode, Schottky diode, three terminal devices in terms of thyristors, BJT, JFET, MOSFET, IGBT. So pin diode and Schottky diode, they are a kind of uncontrollable switches. But to talk about the thyristor, it is a kind of semi-controllable switch. But if you have BJT, JFET, MOSFET, IGBT, they are controllable kind of switches. So depending on the application, depending on the ratings in terms of voltage, current, power rating, or switching speed, the applications will vary. So it can be used as a rectifier, converter, chopper, digital circuits, memory design, and neuromorphic computing. So neuromorphic computing. Okay. So I just to talk about the emerging non-volatile memories. There are many options. Right now, there are many technologies that they are in terms of emerging non-volatile memories. I will talk about the RRAMs. I will talk about the resistive random access memory. There are other memories as well, like ferroelectric RAM, ST-RAM, and PCM. So to talk about okay, to talk about how any technology, why the need of any technology will be there. So there will be some issue with the existing technology. So that's why will try to move to some other technology. So if you talk about current memory scenario, you have this pyramid of showing the capacity. So if you talk about the capacity wise, if you can see the in the base of the pyramid, we have mass storage for using hard disk, main memory in terms of using DRAM, on-chip cache using the SRAMs. So speed-wise, they're increasing as we move upward in the pyramid. But when we talk about the cost per bit, the cost per bit is also increasing. So that's a kind of issue for us. So that will be kind of issue for any technology. So there is a need for an inversal memory that is for the higher operating speed, low cost per bit, and the higher storage. So that's how any new inversal memory that would be requiring these many properties, so that we can use it for the inversal memory. So to talk about different technology, there are different parameters on which the different technology vary. So DRAM, SRAM, hard disk, RRAMs. So they are vary depending on the performance parameters that we are talking about in terms of non-volatility, read time, endurance, retention, cost per bit, storage. Can someone mute there? If yeah. Can yeah. Hello. Okay. Okay. So to talk further about memristor term, we have a memory plus resistor. So the memory and resistor, those two are combined to be a memristor. So memristor falls in a category of RRAMs. So there would be some unique properties of RRAM because of this device or any properties called as memristor. So you have different. If you talk about the physical circuits, you have different physical quantities which are related to each other by some relation. There was a missing link between the charge and flux. That's how the idea of resistance came, and that came way back in 1972 by Dr. Luan Chua. So our objective when we started the work, it was to look for some low-cost RS device, because the existing technology at that time, we were mainly working on the platinum. So we used aluminum against the expensive platinum electrodes. We tried to eliminate the forming process, because the forming process was a very critical issue in the RRAMs. So we tried to eliminate that. We needed to have a clear conduction mechanism in the corresponding model. For that conduction, we tried to give a conduction mechanism and modeling which was inclusive of which was inclusive of like both BLC and ILC. And last, we were like seeking applications in the terms of using it for the data storage and synaptic applications. So if you talk about the memristive behavior, if you talk about how the things work in a memristor or in an RRAM, when you vary the voltage, there is some point at which is called a set, at which point the device turns from the HRS to LRS. So device goes from goes to an on state. So this is the set point actually, at which the device switched from HRS to LRS, and that's how you can see the current increased. And similarly, there would be a reset point at which the device will switch from the LRS to HRS back to HRS actually. So how this memristor concept comes? So when you increase the frequency, there will be chances that the loop will increase. Chances not in terms of saying it as chances, if the at all the increase in loop is there, then you can term it as a memristor, and also if you have increase in frequency, it should swing. So basically that is a property that we have to seek when we are looking for a memristive behavior. So we have been fabricating it using the DIBS technology, dual ambiguous sputtering technology. We moved from a wafer stage, and we fabricated each of the layers, and buffer layer, then the bottom electrode, then the switching layer, then finally the depositing the top electrodes. But that's how we moved. So we stepwise we moved for fabricating a final layer.
हे बघा आता ही एंडच झालेली ओके मीटिंग.
So we have different talking about the different characterizations of the memristor. So if we talk about the memristor, then we have pin hysteresis that has to be exhibited, because I showed in the earlier slide that any memristor has to exhibit pin hysteresis. That's how we can call it as a memristor. Then it should exhibit endurance, it should exhibit retention. So like a good endurance and a retention. So we try to test it using the Kichlik 26128A, and that's how we try to measure properties of memristor characteristics. To talk about the various characterization for the device. So to talk about the various characterization of the device, different we have to measure the switching layer is having those properties which will assist in showing up the switching characteristics. So for that, we have to test it for the looking for inspecting that whether the layer is nearly amorphous or not. We to see that the optimal amount of defects are there in the layer. So those things we have to see. So we have to move to the different characterization in terms of XRD or in terms of XPS or PL. We try to do that. So this is a conduction mechanism of the device actually. The device switches from LRS to HRS, and this is the HRTM image of the interface. And what we are trying to show here is like that at the interface there is a formation of oxide, and that side is actually assisting in the switching of the device. So that is what we want to show here. And to talk about the different connection mechanisms, there is a BLC part, there is a ILC part, and BLC means bulk limited conduction. So what it means actually is throughout the bulk of the switching layer, there would be some parameters which will be varying and which we can control, so that we can vary the switching properties. So those parameters we try to control during the fabrication itself. For the ILC part, interface limited conduction part, we have different. And the interface can show different behavior depending on the type of electrodes that is there, on the configuration of metals that is there in the whole device actually. So depending on different electrodes that we are using, it can have different properties, and the performance parameters will also vary. So endurance, retention, and being economical, those things will vary. So as we move towards using aluminum at both sides of electrodes, we will move towards reduce the cost of the device. Okay, so to talk about the methods of IV characterization, so there are two steps, two parameters actually: compliance character, reset the stock voltage. Those we try to use, and there's those we try to through that performance parameters we try to have a control on HRS and LRS, and that's how we see what is the effect of those parameters on the HRS and LRS. Okay, so that's how we try to see the effect of different pulses and different waveforms of the voltage.
मग ते आजच झालंय, आतापर्यंत नाही झालेलं काय.
So
मी
to
तर
talk, this is just a demonstration of how when we keep one stop voltage constant and we vary this compliance current, how it will look like, and when we vary the stop voltage and keep compliance current, how the HRS and LRS will vary. So that's how that's what it is going to help us when we move to the application part of the device. So, okay, so this is the conduction mechanism of the device. So to analyze the conduction mechanism of the device, we have to test it for the ranging for the applying different operating temperature and testing for using it for the different area actually. So we try to make different electrodes of actually say electrodes of different sizes actually. So that's how we try to vary the cell area, and that's how we try to investigate the conduction mechanism. So talk about the BLC modeling in AZA. So when you when you why first of all why will you move for any modeling? Like why will you move for modeling and those things? So first of all, modeling is required when you want to analyze the performance parameters of a device before you actually fabricate it. So what are the advantages of modeling is like it will reduce the like resources for you, like because you are not going to waste the resources just for trials. So you can trial, you can go get those trials on your computer as well, on your system as well. And after making all those trials, you can just actually, we can work for that device or any technology. So that part is very necessary. So modeling of a device is, any device is very necessary in that terms. So we tried, what we tried to do is like we made a whole software, new software, and we tried to put the different parameters, and also how we try to see how the effect of the device is going on, like how it is exhibiting there. So like what we try to see is like whether the different parameters that are there which are affecting the devices, affecting the performance of the device in what terms. So that we try to show there. And to talk about the modeling, we took we have to have some equations, some mathematical equations on which the modeling will be based on. So basically, if we talk about this memristor or RAMs, then you can treat it as a variable resistor. So we have to vary the resistance, and we have to seek some equation which is which is going to change when we change the voltage, or when we change the applied current as well. So any applied signal, so it should affect the resistance. So that's how we try to make a equation for the resistance, how the resistance varies when we apply voltage. So what it happens is like when you apply voltage, there will be a movement of defects throughout the layer, and that's how the resistance will change. So that we try to seek it here. So then, like we tried, when we have done with this, we have to see whether our modeling and our experimental work, they are matching somehow or not. So that is the application, or that is the application of a model. So in that terms, the model has to be perfect, because if the model is not perfect, it won't sync with the experimental results. So we have to do that as well. We have to consider that as well. So next part is like application part. So already, if you can understand that this, if you develop a switch, then you can assign 1 and 0 to 8. Okay, so you are going to use it as a memory. So how, and the next thing is of talking it for the application of neuromorphic computing. So first of all, try to understand what is neuromorphic or what is computing. So neuromorphic in terms of if you have a human brain, like all of you us have a human brain. So like in the brain, how it works, on the whole neuromorphic system of any human body, how it works is like there will be two neurons. Like I try to show it here. There will be two neurons, and between the two neurons, some synapse will be there at the joint of two neurons actually, where the two neurons exchange the information. So at that we have tried to simulate using our memory strip device. That synapse that we are trying to simulate using our memory strip device. So where stands the principle of learning behavior? So there are two things. First of all, if you are trying to understand the learning means like I am sharing some knowledge to you, and sharing that knowledge to you again and again. So at some point of time, that knowledge will be in short-term memory of yours, and when I repeat the same stuff again and again, then at a certain time of after certain interval of time, that will go to your long-term memory. So that's how that repeated stimulation training works. That's how that repeated stimulation training is going to transfer the data from the short-term memory to long-term memory, or short-term storage to long-term storage, and you can access that. So that's how we need to seek whether our device is going to perform those stuffs or not. So there are some experiments that we have to perform on our device. So those were the experiments we try to do by varying time, by varying number of pulses, by varying the duration of pulses. We try to see whether our device is performing those or showing up those parameters or not. That's how we try to see the neuromorphic properties of the device. Okay. So when you talk about the synaptic catalyzation, so like synaptic catalyzation means like I just want to make you trying to understand here is like when you change. If you have seen my first PPT where I was showing you set reset of the device. So what I was doing is like in the first quadrant I was setting it, and in the third quadrant I was resetting it. But here what you can see is that I'm trying to set here, but I'm not going into the third quadrant in the first figure, if you can see here. So I'm just going there and coming back, but what I'm not resetting it. So what it is causing actually is that the whatever the filaments that have been formed, that will not be completely resolved. So the device will start from from here. It will go till there. It will come back here, but all the filaments will not have been resolved. So the device will start again from here. So some filaments will always be there, or also be there because those has not been resolved. So when the device will switch from here, start working from here, so it will affect the HRS and LRS in a different way. That is the property which is being used when we switch work for the synaptic catalyzation or seek the application of neuromorphic computing for the device. So that is the idea behind how the neuromorphic computing applications can be seeked using this memoristic device, and you can use this neuromorphic computing aspect of the device in like numerous applications. Okay, so you can work also for the image processing and many other stuff you can do for and actually many research much of the research is going on these aspects. So you can certainly work on that. And now to talk about the how the multidisciplinary research of devices are involved. So just if you take an example of RF, when I discuss any semiconductor device that I have been working throughout my research and my academic career. So any semiconductor device has so many of disciplines involved within it. Okay, so not only like physics, which concerns the working principles of device. We have chemistry and material science, which involves the materials and fabrication techniques. You have maths, which involves the modeling principle. You have biology, like here, human brain modeling applications. You have computing, modeling methods, and neuromorphic computing. Those are part of computing discipline, if you see. Then, of course, the engineering disciplines, electrical and electronics. So what I generally ask to all all my students, all my juniors and all my fellows is like try to make a coordination with different disciplines, and that's how you are going to rock in the research, because there is no alternative that you are going to do everything. Even if you see a car or a bulb, actually not every component of that bulb can be made by a single person or single discipline. So there would be some multidisciplinary research, or there is a need of multidisciplinary research, and that's how you can proceed. Okay, and so to further talk about my research at NIT Patna, I'm quite involved in research at NIT Patna in semiconductor devices, memory technology, and neuromorphic computing, renewable energy and applications, renewable energy. So I'm involved both in electrical and electronics type of research. So like if somebody wants to work on the research on electrical and electronics topics, you can just contact me, and then I can guide you in those stuffs in how to. If you are stuck somewhere, you can always talk to me, and to further talk about our research at NIT Patna. We have been working on the semiconductor devices, on the optical electronic devices and sensors. We are working on the memory technology and neuromorphic computing. Then we are also working on like in renewable energy and applications. Renewable energy and applications, we are working on the solar cells and solar panels actually as well. Solar panels and like electrical vehicles and solar powered electrical vehicles, solar pumps, and those stuffs we are working at NIT Patna. And also to talk about like different applications based work, we are working on artificial intelligence based power systems and power electronics. So those like power electronics devices which try to use like which try to use like artificial intelligence for improving their characteristics or improving their performance. Those are actually researched by us in this domain actually, artificial intelligence based power systems and power electronics. And further to talk about like we also are working on instrumentation design and biomedical applications. So recently we have been working on a project on the COVID, that how we can design instrument of thermal imaging. Generally, the general thermal imaging instrument that you see. So those we are trying to work on, and other instruments as well. Because right now the situation is there for India. I just tell it to everyone that we can start from a small stuff, and we can start working. Because if you are seeking for a larger perspective, so if you are seeking for this Make in India concept or Atmanirbhar concept, you have to work for those things. And to work for those things, you have to start making your own resources. So that's how this implementation design and those things are very crucial, because you can't depend on everything on other countries. So first of all, those instruments have to be designed. So even right now the situation is like, even for the basic instruments, we have to be dependent upon other countries. So we can start working on instrumentation design. Of course, we are trying to work on that as well. So that aspect of our research. Besides, I'm very grateful to the Department of Electrical Engineering and NIT Patna, as well as Electronics and ICT Academy, so like they are helping me with my research, and they are helping me with my activities around here. So I'm very thankful to them. These are my some of the papers, like 2 patents I have worked on, 16 journals, 21 conferences and book chapters. So I have worked on those, and you can yeah. So just to conclude my talk is like, start working, and you may start, and you may not have some resources, but you can contact people. You can contact to us. You can contact to everyone. So everyone around you who have some resource, some kind of research experience, and you can talk to them, and that's how you can start working on your research. Because after all, if you are going to work on if you're not going to work on these stuffs right now, then it won't be possible for our country to take us forward, because we would be stuck. If you are banning the Chinese products, you are banning the stuffs from other countries, then of course you should have resources to develop on your own. So to develop on your own, you have to work, you have to research, and the field of academia is this very important, that there is so much of responsibility on the field of academia, the field of on the faculties, on the students, everyone, and the researchers. So they have to sync with the industry, try to sync with the industry, try to talk to the industry guys, and try to work on some resources, try to achieve some goals, even small goals, and that will help you, and that will motivate you when you work for the higher research or higher goals. Okay, so for anything else, yeah, I'm always there. This is my lab, Next Gen Adaptive Systems Lab, AE NIT Patna. This is my website, and this is my email. This is amitesh.lavali@nitp.ac.in. This is my contact number. If something is there, I'm always there to help you guys. And I hope you enjoyed this lecture. And see you some other time. And thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Just
a second.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, Dr. Amitesh. I'm really grateful to you. On such a short span, you accepted this invitation and graced this event with your presence, with your wisdom, with your knowledge. And I know that our participants are definitely getting benefited by your session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
And even I expect that we are going to work in this way in near future also, sir.
Sure. You can, whatever it is, you can contact to us. If you contact Ali, because already one event is going on for me as well. I am organizing a faculty development program at NIT Patna. So
Okay.
that session I have held here. So
Yes.
just for you guys. But I am very thankful to you, and please keep on doing good work. And that's what I say to everyone. And if at all I am required to help or anything, anyone, student or anyone, I'm always there for you guys. So please do good work, and please be safe and healthy. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, with this. Now, before, as this keynote speech session is over, but before we conclude the session, as this conference is the seeing the day because of the volunteer work that my college students are doing. So just they want to share with you all their journey of ICCIP. So we'll just share their views on this, and then we'll end up with this keynote speech as well as inaugural function. And then we'll start with from 2 to 5, the Skype presentation, which is shared with you all. So let me play the first video. I may ask, my volunteer team is here. You just please unmute your mic as well as start with your video, and you may share your views one by one.